Welcome to the Treasury Update Podcast, Coffee Break Sessions, presented by Strategic Treasurer, the show where we cover foundational topics and core Treasury issues in about the same amount of time it takes you to drink your cup of coffee. I'll be your host, Jonathan, Media Production Specialist here at Strategic Treasurer, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Today, I have with me Paul Galloway. Paul, welcome back to the show. It's been a while since you've been on.
It has been. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about machine learning. Could you define what machine learning is?
Machine learning is a form of artificial intelligence. It uses data and algorithms to mimic the way humans learn. Not like our brain exactly, but it's similar in pattern recognition. So over time, it has the ability to improve accuracy of detection in terms of analysis or data sets that it looks at.
Okay. And in the context of finance or treasury, how is machine learning being used today?
Yeah, we're starting to see the use of machine learning and artificial intelligence, which machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. We're starting to see that being used a lot more in today's treasury environment. It's being integrated with systems, processes that Treasury utilizes, in particular within Treasury management systems. And it can be used for forecasting, variance analysis, so you can do a comparative of your forecast to actual transactions that come in. And a key piece for the use of machine learning is fraud detection. We're starting to see it being used for fraud detection. So with a forecast, historical data sets, and the use of doing the variance analysis, you're able to detect anomalies in the transactions that occur day over day. It can be done over an extended period of time, but typically it's looking over a short period of time to see if there's a pattern that doesn't look normal. This way, Treasury units can utilize that information to investigate, determine if fraud exists.
Craig has talked a lot about issues with data quality and accuracy in generative AI in the couple podcasts and webinars that we've done recently. Do the same kind of issues apply with machine learning, or is machine learning much more accurate in the results it gives you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Generative AI is different than machine learning in the sense that it uses models that can multitask to generate, summarizations of content, images, videos, music, etc. And so it uses existing data that is available to knowing the source of truth, and validating its correctness may be needed. So it can go out and can get information, but this is existing information out on the internet or other sources. It can gather it, bring it together, summarize it, or put it into paragraphs or sentences. What's needed by human beings is to validate that the information is true and correct. You can get something that's generated, but knowing whether it's accurate or not is a different story. So I think that's what Craig was referring to. When it comes to machine learning, it's a little different because it uses algorithms and statistical models or math to complete complex analysis or tasks. The data sets that it utilizes, they're uniform in nature, are set up in a way that the machine can utilize the information. And so these data sets typically are known sources of truth. So it's a little bit different than going out. It's not going out to the internet to get information. It's using existing data sets within an organization. Perhaps their data warehouse, data lake, or systems, data coming directly out of systems. Machine learning doesn't need explicit instructions. So it has the ability to improve over time. So you don't have to continually tell it, hey, do this, do this. It just goes and does it. And then it looks at what's going on with the data, and it can get more accurate over time based on the historical patterns that occur. Machine learning tends to be more accurate over time.
So much less risk of complete made up.
A lot less risk because you're talking about known data sources and the ability to improve on accuracy of what's occurring. Either it's forecasts, your variance analysis, or the use of machine learning to detect fraud.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned data sets a little bit ago. What is a data set in the context of machine learning?
A data set could be financial transactions that come out of your treasury management system. That would be a data set. These transactions are fed directly from a bank to the treasury management system. So it's a known source of truth. There's no manual intervention to change the information in there. Although some treasury management systems allow you to add additional information to a description. That doesn't happen very often, but it could happen in some instances. But the manual intervention with this data is minimal to none. And that data can be extracted out of your treasury management system. It can be delivered to your ERP or your admin systems, and ultimately your data lake or data warehouse where machine learning can draw upon it.
Well, thanks for sharing all this information. Do you have any final thoughts or best practices that you want to share with the audience?
The key to this is education, because we're still relatively new to the use of AI and machine learning in our organizations. So understanding how it works, what the right controls are that you want to have in place. So use of, for lack of a better term, belt and suspenders to ensure that the technology that you're utilizing isn't doing something you don't want it to do. So you're able to really control it and limit it to exactly what is needed for the organization. So just make sure you educate yourself, find those opportunities where you can utilize it, test it, make sure it's acting and behaving the way it should be behaving, and then it's going to deliver the kind of results that you need.
Hey, well, thanks for sharing all this information. And to our listeners, tune back in 2 weeks to hear what are anomaly detection systems. Thanks, Paul.
This podcast is provided for informational purposes only, and statements made by Strategic Treasurer LLC on this podcast are not intended as legal, business, consulting, or tax advice. For more information, visit and bookmark strategictreasurer.com.